Let me share the screen. Sharing the screen. Hey, that JB muted his speakers and everything. JB, rectify that issue. Then we can continue. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now, last time we kind of like did an introduction of Python. We just saw how to install it, and then we did some few examples. So I think everyone, at least you should be really set up to dive into deep. Yeah. If you have any questions, you just highlight in the chat. Those ones who want to manage to make it, shall find a way of accommodating them. Yeah, but we are hoping we can finish between today and Friday. Yeah, because based on the prior knowledge you have from JavaScript, this shouldn't be very hard to accomplish. Yeah, but in case you have any question, don't hesitate. Just comment in the chat, and I will pause and handle that. All right. Yeah. So last time I was using this I was using the Python tutorial. Yeah, the Python tutorial from the official website. If I can pull it out, this is the one I was using, and we stopped at the we stopped there, whereby we looked at most of these concepts. Yeah, in a nutshell. Yeah, I think yeah, we did hint on most of these. Yeah, and we are hoping that this time around we can cover more ground. Yeah, so at least we looked at most of these data types in general, and we stopped here. So we are moving on to the next section of control flow. Control flow, just like you see the word control flow, depending on which condition, some code is ran. Yeah, and so with control flow statements, we have of course we have the famous if statement. If statement, I think it's in every language I know. Yeah, and it's used a lot. Yeah, and for it, maybe if at all you have an initial value of maybe I'm just going to use the example actually in the documentation. Maybe if the value is that, and if x is less than 8, do something, maybe print something. And if not, if at all you want to go down the rabbit hole, there is, instead of else if, this one is called elif. For another condition, maybe x is greater than 8. Yeah, then you can do something. Then if at all you're done with the rabbit hole, you can either stop there, or you can, if at all you have something default, you can also just use the else clause, just like any other programming language. Yeah. And like you see here, the indentation here, indentation is always 4 spaces. Yeah, so one thing I didn't mention last time, you can install the extension called Python. Yeah, it has around 6 million. Yeah, Ken Mugi is in the building. Yeah, Ken Mugi, how are you? Just comment in the chat box that you are fine. JB is not hearing anything. Try to connect. Also Rachel is saying the font of the words is small. Yeah, so I've increased the font. I think this should be enough. Yeah, I think the font should be enough now. Like I was saying, you install this I guess yeah, my text editor had crashed. Let's give it a few minutes to reload. Yeah. Let's give it a few minutes to reload. Yeah, it had crashed actually. Finally, JB can hear me. Yeah, and I know people are happy with the data because, right, at least Afasha is also in the building. Yeah, Afasha, we actually wanted to ask you on which line to send the data, but you were not there. Yeah, we are going to send you data after the lesson, Afasha. Yeah, we're going to send the data after the lesson. Okay. My computer is a bit slow, so bear with me. Okay. Yeah. So Afasha, you came in late, but we had not yet covered a lot. Yeah, we had not yet covered a lot. Actually, we were just looking at the conditional statements. Now we were just looking at the conditional statements, and we had started with the if statement, and just like you see, it kind of like has the concepts are quite similar to JavaScript, though with this one instead we indent instead of using the brackets. Yeah, so basically if at all you have any questions, please let me know. And this indentation, they're usually 4 spaces. That's why I advise you to install the Python extension for VS Code, because it will kind of like help you with this spacing. If at all you save the file as a .py initially, if you do it the first time, it will help you to kind of like work with this spacing. But if this spacing is not given, maybe for some reason or the other, when you press enter, sometimes it gives you, or if it doesn't give it to you, just press spacebar 4 times so that you can get that spacing. Yeah. What are you trying to ask here? A letter? What is a letter? Can you clarify on this, on your question? All right. So as we move on, we are going to look at the for statement. With the for statement, actually it works more or less like the for each loop in JavaScript. They kind of like work similarly. Yeah. For example, I'm trying to look at this documentation. Now, if at all we have, I'm seeing here there is an array that has cards, and then window and maybe let me just say a door. Yeah, and you want to loop through this. You will start off with the 4, then that variable you declare will be the one to hold each single item. Then use the keyword in words, then full colon, then we can print out each individual item in the array using, yeah. So wherever it loops, it will pick one item, and that item will use toward in this variable of word. Yeah. So since my VS Code had crashed, I have to reactivate my virtual environment. Yeah. I think I showed you how to do this last time. So I'll use Python, then the name of the file. Let me first save this. The name of the file is hello.py. Yeah, so just like you see, take note of only these last three. There is cats, window, and door. Yeah, so it works like the for each loop in JavaScript. Yeah. Okay, yeah, and yeah, we also have some other function called okay, Afasha. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, let's continue. Sometimes we can use if I told you there is a function called range. You may use it at some point, or you may come across it. Yeah, but if you look at the documentation, they say it's kind of like it helps you to iterate over a sequence of numbers. It kind of like generates one number as you iterate. Yeah, now like if at all I still have the 4 here, maybe I as our placeholder in range of 5. In range of 5, yeah, it will kind of like print the arithmetic progression from 0 to 4, because those are already 5, and then just like this here, 0 1 2 3 4. Yeah, so yeah, you may find these cases for this. Yeah, but this is one function that helps you to kind of like generate that progression. If at all you want to start from a different number, instead of maybe 0, you can specify it as the first argument. Kind of like whenever you put in, and it also has an option of putting a step, either an increment or decrement. Yeah, if you put all those three, the initialization value, the end value, and the step, you'll actually end up getting a loop that resembles these for loops that we usually use. Yeah, the one that has an initial value, yeah, an end value, and an increment or decrement. Yeah. So enough on the conditional structures. Now there are these two keywords, and I believe you have also seen them in other languages, the break and the continue. Yeah. With the break, yeah, it will kind of like break out of Afasha is saying the sound is breaking. Is it happening with the other people too? Are you having issues with the sound breaking? Okay, Afasha says now the sound is fixed. Yeah, I think I should just look directly in the laptop. Yeah, yeah. But I was saying the break and the continue, they still do the same thing like they have been doing in JavaScript. Whereby with the break, it will kind of like break out of the innermost loop, and the continue will kind of like skip that it will skip that iteration. Yeah. Now an example maybe would be if you're looking for the first blah blah number, something like that. Maybe yeah, just like you see the way it has been highlighted there on the documentation. I'm hoping everyone has the documentation open. Maybe I can share the link just in case. Yeah. Moving on, we also have the pass. The pass does nothing. It can be used when a statement is required syntactically, but the program requires no action. Take an example. Maybe if at all you're writing a class, but you have not yet gotten the code to put in the class, you can just put the pass, and it will kind of like it will be ignored while compiling. Yeah. Let's just dive directly into functions, because we shall see others as time goes on. If you have any question of something above that you feel we need to look through, please don't hesitate to ask. Yeah, but for functions, we use the def keyword and then the name of the function. Maybe say underscore hello. We can have arguments. Maybe let me say greeting, and of course the full colon, and then in the body we can put in whatever we want to put in. Maybe you want to print if at all you want to print preferably the greeting. Yeah. And that's a function. Yeah, so of course as a function, when you define it, you have to call it. Since this one is taking a parameter, just like it is hinting here, you can put in a string, maybe saying good morning. Yeah, so if we save and we try to run this, yeah, we shall get the good morning here. And of course, with functions, there is also an option of having it return a value. Yeah. Now, like this one, that if a function doesn't return a value like this, you may think it doesn't return a value, but it still returns a value, but that value is none. Yeah. And hope I remember I mentioned this. None is also one of the types of data in Python. It's one of the data types, with the exception of the ints, floats, and none. Yeah. If at all we try to define a variable, maybe let me call it call underscore back, and equate it to this to this function, and you try to print call underscore back. Let's see what we get here. Yeah, you see it gave us none. Yeah, so if at all the function doesn't have a default return statement, yeah, it returns none. Yeah. But another example, maybe we can have one for sum of nums, that will take in maybe num1, comma, and num2. Yeah, then it will return instead the sum of num1 plus num2. So if I have a variable called my sum, and I equate it to sum of numbers, and I put in maybe 4 and 6, and then I print my sum, I should have this printed out as as 10. Yeah, and it does print it out as 10. Yeah, so basically, yeah, exactly. First is asking whether none is the same as null. Yeah, it is. It is kind of like the same. Yeah, but this time around for JavaScript, if a variable is empty, it has the value is none type, the one it has. Yeah, exactly. But the none, this none keyword is a capital what? It's a capital N. Yeah, it's a capital N. You should take very keen note on that. Yeah. Yeah. So and of course, you know why functions have return types, because with the return type, that means you are able to use that value in the rest of your program. Yeah. Moving deeper into functions, you can have a default value. Maybe if at all you are saying num is equals to num1 is equals to 7. Yeah. So if I told you kind of like only specify number 2, then it will still run. Wait. Yeah, there is an error here, but let me look at the syntax error. They are saying there is the syntax error is a non-default argument follows a default argument. A non-default argument follows a default argument. That means the default argument has to come last. Yeah. Let's try to change that and see if it works. Yeah, and it has worked. Yeah, now that is one rule for the functions, and it's always very good to follow most of these rules. That if at all you have some default arguments that you want to pass through the function, you should define them last. Yeah. So right now 6 will go to num2, and num1 will have the value of 7. Yeah, but we didn't have to specify it here because it was already set here. Although if you want, you can overshadow it, and let's say we give it 3. If we give it 3, now we have given num1 a new value, yeah, which is now 9. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but we shall see most of those rules down here. Yeah. Yeah, then we have also keyword arguments. With keyword arguments, of course it is kind of like in a key value pair, whereby now if at all I want to put them here, I can specify num2 is equals to 6. Let me try to save this and see if it works. Yeah, again it has failed to work, and it is saying that position arguments follows keyword arguments. Yeah. Now exactly, this is also now one of the things we shall be looking at in most of these rules, in that if at all there is these ones that don't have that are not in this key value pair. First, wait. If at all you have to look at option 4.7.2, yeah, it talks about the keyword arguments here, and I can't assign this before adding a a position argument, because with the position argument, I'm using the position. I'm kind of like dictating this position. So if at all I say, okay, num2 is 6, and then I say num1 is equals to 3, this should work. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So one thing we saw previously with the arguments at first, the default argument comes before it is assigned before the what? Before this default argument. Yeah, the position argument comes before the default arguments, but also the keyword arguments will come after the position arguments. Yeah, but we shall see most of those as we still go on. And if at all there is in any way you are confused, please let me know so that I can try to answer. Yeah, and also there is this scenario of having either to use this, they are called hysterics. Yeah, hysterics, whereby there is a single hysteric like this, a single hysteric like that, or having double hysterics like that. Yeah, for double hysterics, that means it will expect either one or more keyword arguments, and with a single asterisk, that means it will expect either one or many positional arguments. Yeah. So that means if at all you have a function and you are not sure of how many arguments will come in, yeah, but you just leave that asterisk there for the position arguments and the double asterisk for the keyword arguments. Any more questions on functions? All right. Docstrings. Yeah, docstrings is a very good topic. Yeah, docstrings they are used with functions to kind of like provide some documentation about the function. Now, like this function may be there to add the sum of two numbers. Yeah. And just like that, this docstring, you see, it is usually in three quotations. Yeah, Afasha is saying that someone distracted them when I was explaining the double star arguments. Okay. Yeah. And I advise you to open this link to this document so that we can follow along. But going on up there, okay, let me start with the default arguments. I think I can spend a little bit more time on this. So they are saying it is possible to define functions with a variable number of arguments, and it takes on three forms which can be combined. The default arguments. The most useful form is to specify a default for one or more arguments. This creates a function that can be called with fewer arguments than it is defined to allow, right? Yeah. Now you see here, now this function called ask, okay, it has one argument, prompt. This one is not a default argument because it has no value retries has a value of 4 by default, and reminder has a value of please try again. And you can see down here, and you can see that these default arguments, they come last. These two come last. Yeah. And so they are saying that this function can be called in several ways. The first way, it is given this value. When it is given this value, that means it is only the prompt that has actually gotten a value, right? Yeah, it's only the prompt that has actually gotten a value. Yeah, these other two, the retries and the reminder, they are taking only the default values, which is 4 and this. The second option on how it is called, it is given, the prompt is given a value and the retries are given a value of 2. Still the remainder remains as please try again. Then for the third option, all these three are given values. Yeah, so that means the default values are what? Are neglected. Okay. And also they are saying this example also introduces the in keyword. Yeah, in keyword is usually very good in checking if at all there is a value that actually exists in a sequence. Yeah, now like right now we have not yet looked at this sequence, but this sequence is called a tuple. A tuple is more or less like a list, but it has curly braces. It has curly braces, and it can't be changed. Yeah, it can't be changed. So the length it has, it's the length it will have up to the end. Yeah, so basically here we are just trying to check if at all this string is in any of these. Yeah, but going back to these three, then moving on to keywords. Functions can also be called using keyword arguments of the form this and value. For instance, the following functions. There is a function here of Rachel is saying that which default values am I saying, because I can't see the movement of our cursor. Okay, let's just try to do an example here. Actually, let's use this same example. Let's use the same example of add numbers. We started it with num1 and num2, right? And for this one, num1 has no default value. So I guess num1, the default value is none, right? And num2 has a default value of 7. That means we are free to either assign num2 with a new value or not assign it with 1. Yeah, it's that simple. Yeah, so now like at first we gave it 4, and then we did save and run this, and we got 10, right? Yeah, that is the first scenario. Now, and then we came up with other scenarios here. If at all we eliminate this, yeah, if at all we eliminate 1 and only give only 1 argument, that means 6 is equal to num1, and num2 will take on the default value of 7, right? Yeah, because this has been given as only 1 value. So if at all we save, we should get I think we should get 13. Yeah, that's why we got 13, because 6 needs a value, but num2 already has 7. Hope that is okay, Rachel. Okay, moving on to keyword arguments. And okay, with keyword arguments, so they have an example here that says functions can also use keyword arguments of the form this and this and this, the following. So voltage, as you can see, it is in position 1. It is regarded as a position what? Argument. And then this one is state, then action, and then type. Okay. Then a lot of things happen inside here, and then they are saying that, okay, so this function accepts one required argument called voltage. That means this function can, at least it needs to get one required argument, yeah, and the other 3 are what? Are optional arguments, because they already have default values, right? Yeah, so even if I call it with only 1, I'll be okay. Just like you see in these scenarios here. In this scenario, they have given you 1000 takes, it's only 1 argument, so it takes up the position argument of voltage. Now for here parrot, they use the keyword format of voltage and 1000. Yeah, it's still correct, because voltage is kind of like a required argument. It must be there since the others already have a value. But instead this time when they are calling, they have used it as a keyword argument. The user specified the name of the argument that they are initializing, and they have given it the value. Yeah. On the third, we have the voltage and the action. That means the voltage has been given a keyword argument, and also the action has also been given a keyword argument. So there are 2 keyword arguments, but for action, that means this one has been overwritten. Then for parrot, on this third one, they have actually changed the order of the action and voltage, which is still okay, because since we are not using positional arguments, we are using keyword arguments. Yeah, so this will be assigned to this, and voltage will be assigned to this. Yeah, and then we have parrot here. A 1 million, this will go to the voltage. The second one will go to the state. Right now they are using only 3. They are using them as positional arguments, and the last one, jump, will go to the action. That means type will stay Norwegian blue. So the way they are in order 1, 2, 3, so they will take this order 1, 2, 3. So it will be the voltage, state, and action that will actually receive values. Then this one, the position argument, will go to the first, and then the state, of course, will go to this. Yeah. Now I think then we have some invalids here, and I think you people even may help me out on these ones, because people are very, very quiet. I think these ones we can try to explain why most of these may not work. Yeah, as we try to replicate now, like this one, let me try to replicate this one in our code. The first one, parrot with no argument, will kind of like be similar to running this function of sums, but without a what? Without an argument. Yeah. So if you try to save and run it, we are seeing that the type error we are getting is that this function is missing one required position argument called num1. Yeah, because at least one argument is required and it was not given, so it gave us that exception. And then who can explain why this one is wrong with regards to this function? Because with this function, I have given voltage as 5.0 and dead as the second argument, but dead is a position argument and it is put in position 2, and the keyword argument came first. And why do you think it won't work? Or I can try to replicate it in our code and see. Let me try to replicate it in our code since we already have 2 arguments. So bring it, it's like they said num1 is equals to 5, then they put a comma and they said 6, right? And you see what they are saying here, that the position argument follows the keyword argument, so it has to be the other way around. Yeah. Afasha, your answer, because the computer will be confused on how to use the dead. No. It's because usually with Python, if at all you are to use a position argument, it should come first, and the keyword argument should always come last. So instead, maybe this one should have been maybe 5 and then maybe num2, just like this. The position argument has to come first and the keyword argument will come last. Yeah, in that way, then it should work. So if at all we save and run this, it gives us 11. Yeah. Then we have this one of parrot 1110, and then voltage is equals to 220. For this case, is like they have assigned voltage actually twice, because initially, since it's a position argument, it is given 110, and then again you are saying voltage is equals to 220. That means you have reassigned it twice, and that's why they've said here that there is a duplicate value for the same argument. Yeah, it's like saying num1. It's like for example, it's like saying 5, and then we say num1 is equals to 6. So we have assigned, this is a duplicate again, and it should give us the same error exception that says number of sums go to multiple values for argument number 1. So Maureen is asking, is there any reason position arguments should come before keyword arguments in functions beyond, or it's just syntax? Yeah, it's just syntax. Those are the rules of Python. Yeah. If at all you feel you'll be confused by position arguments, then it doesn't hurt for you to just write them as keyword arguments explicitly, because sometimes that's what I do. If at all, now, like take an example, like here you see voltage, it's given as is, then this one is given as is. Yeah, sometimes if at all you don't want to get confused, yeah, you can just write them the way they are, but it's just syntax. That's how it works. And at some point, actually, yeah, the good thing, if at all you install the Python extension in VS Code, and you call a function, of course you see it already gives you the arguments that you have to use, num1 or num2. Yeah, so when it gives you this highlighting, then you know that you can actually at least you have a clue on what to put. Yeah, so you can either just put them the way they are, or you can just use the keyword approach like this. It will still work. Yeah. Then Maureen is asking about the extension I use. It's Python. Yeah, you just search for it. It's here. It's called Python. It has around 26 04 something what downloads. Yeah. Apasha is also asking, but I see as if keyword arguments are arguments with the default values. No. Actually, the concept of keyword arguments, you'll only see it when you are calling this function, right? Yeah, because can you all see my screen? Because some people can't see my screen. Yeah. Yeah, so the notion of keyword arguments will come out down here, in that that num1 is equals to 4. The key is here, and the value is here, right? Yeah. So this notion of keyword arguments, you'll see it when you're actually calling the what? When you're calling the function. So you can call it using keyword arguments, using positional arguments, blah 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 blah. Yeah, hope I've answered your Fasha. Okay. Moving on. Yeah. So we move on, and let's look at this, because that's where this is where Afasha had gotten confused. So a final form factor is actually to have these two asterisks name is present, right? It receives a dictionary containing all keyword arguments except for those corresponding to a formal parameter. This may be combined with a formal parameter of the form this described in the section, which receives a tuple containing the positional arguments beyond the formal parameter list. Okay, like I said, when you see a star, it expects what? A number of positional arguments, though sometimes even if you send one, it is still okay. And this will expect a dictionary or keyword arguments. Okay, now the best way to understand it is now, like here they have what? They have defined the function, and once they define the function, if at all the keyword arguments will be, if at all the position arguments will be there, they are kind of like looped. They are looped through to get what you need. And then for the keywords as they loop, they get the keyword and they use because when you loop through, I don't know if we talked about the dictionary, but a dictionary is a keyword argument, and it's kind of like, it's almost resembles the object literal in JavaScript. Yeah, so basically that's what a dictionary is. There is a key and there is also a value, right? Yeah, so basically right now when they try to call this Lindbergh will take up the position of kind. Then these are the remaining ones. It's very funny, sir. Then these 2 and 3, they are positional arguments. Yeah, so they will kind of like all these will be got and they will be put into a tuple, right? They will be put into a tuple, and then these other 2, the keyword arguments, will be got and they will be put into a dictionary. Yeah, so we can have our own example. And before we move on, I'll try to still edit this. So let's say, okay, we're expecting very many numbers, right? Wait, numbers may not come out well, maybe friends, right? Friends, and then we have this one for okay, hobbies, and then friends. Yeah, then let's have something like that. Yeah, so we know that these hobbies will kind of like it will have very many values, and those values will be put in a tuple. Yeah, Fasha, now you're understanding the concept. Yeah, but let's finish. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, basically, so let's have a for loop for maybe hobby, hobby in hobbies, we can create an array. Actually, you can create an array. Let's actually first create the array here. Maybe we call it my underscore hobbies is equals to an empty array, right? Yeah, so as it is looping through, it will get my hobbies dot insert. Insert is a method on lists that will be used to add items to the end of the list. Yeah, okay, let's first use this one before we can add the other one. All right, and then at the end of it all, let's print my hobbies. Yeah, so when you do that, let's just call sum of numbers here. And maybe I say okay, hobbies only have, if I will say okay, I have one hobby and it is swimming, right? Yeah, and it is saying here that line 55, line 55, it is saying that it is saying inside two arguments it expected it got 1. Okay, let me see. Football. Okay. Still the same issue. All right, let me first try to debug this. Okay, let's go back to the documentation and check. I'll look into that later, but okay, let's first try to get this example the way it is, but it looks to me I did everything right. Expected 2 arguments that go to 1. Anyone see where the problem is? Maybe there is something I missed. Hope we are following. Does anyone see where I went wrong? Guys, are you seeing where I went wrong, or no one is following? Afasha, help me debug here. Okay, I'll get back to this. Maybe there is something I missed. Yeah, I'll get back to this, but yeah, everything seems fine. Okay. All right. Okay, so let's move on. I'll look into that, and then I get back to you. Yeah, but mostly one note to take away from this. When you see the single asterisk, it is taking in 2. It is taking in more than one position argument. When you see 2 asterisks, it is taking in more than 1 keyword argument. All right. Now let's look at the docstring before I can kind of like close this topic. With the docstring, okay, let me get back to this thing we had. Okay, take an example of this function we have created, and we create another file here. We can try to create another file here, maybe class.py. Yeah, so like I told you last time, these files of ours, with the extension, they are Python files, but without the extension, they're actually modules. Yeah. So now I want to kind of like try to read this documentation here. I'm trying to see if at all I can read this documentation. One thing we can do is you can actually go into we can press we can just write the word Python. When you write Python, it actually it opens up something called a repo. I think, or you can call it the terminal or something like that. Basically, with this interface, it's kind of like it gives you real-time responses. Now, like if I say 2 plus 3, it will give you 5 instantly. It's kind of like they call it an interactive interpreter, something like that. Yeah, I'll get back to you with the actual name. Yeah, but we can import the function itself, sum underscore of nums. Yeah, we can say from hello import sum underscore of underscore nums. Yeah, okay, yeah, now we have imported it, and when you import it, it runs. Yeah, but one thing I wanted to do was to say help, then I say sum underscore of underscore nums. Yeah, so help is a function that is inbuilt into Python, and it doesn't necessarily, you don't have necessarily to use it with only the functions that you have created, but you can also use it with functions that are inbuilt. If at all you have you want to see the documentation. Yeah, now like if at all you have this doc string we wrote is actually the doc string that is brought out here to kind of like help us kind of like understand what this function is doing, and of course even it brings out some of these. It shows that this one is a default argument, this one is known. Yeah, and as time goes on, there will be another tool that you can use actually to. There's another tool you can use to come up with all this documentation, for example, of all your functions in an HTML file. That tool is called Sphinx. Yeah, you'll do some research on it. Something like this. This is the tool. Yeah, just like you see it here. So this is the link to the tool. Yeah, in your free time you can actually go there and try to. You can go there and try to see how it is documented. And actually, this is the same tool they used in coming up with the Python documentation. Yeah, so it's a very good tool that you should learn how to use. Yeah. Okay. Do you have any questions so far? We started a little bit late, so we have around 10 more minutes to go. Okay. Yeah, so if at all you want to get more acquainted with the list functions, I mean list methods, just go down there and try to see how most of these work. Yeah, they will kind of like resemble some that you have worked with the JavaScript. Yeah, and list comparison, they just show how you can kind of like change lists while you're in there. Yeah, there is a lot, but most of this we shall see as time goes on. Yeah, the del is a keyword that helps you to delete things. Yeah, because one thing you'll see about most of these list methods, sometimes now like pop, now like fruits.pop, with fruits.pop it actually returns the value it has removed from the end of the list. Yeah, and sometimes you may not need that value, so it will lag around in memory and use memory for nothing. Yeah, so actually del does the same thing like pop does, but for it doesn't it doesn't return a value, right? It doesn't return a value. Yeah, so at some point you'll have to make choices on whether to use one or the other. Yeah, and like you see here, del, it can even be used to delete delete sublists. Now, like here, if at all you want to delete from position 2 to position 4, but you know the last position is not what? Is not inclusive. So it will cut off from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Yeah. So that means what? These two will go. Yeah, these two will go. That's why you see that now when you return A, it's 0, 1, 2. Yeah. Now A has 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So one of these went. Wait. Let's try this. So we have del and we're deleting A from position 2 to position 4. 0, 1, 2. Okay. Then we are printing A. Let's first exit out of this this idle by saying Q and then Control D. Yeah, I have some indentation errors here. Okay, and actually this one gives us the solution I had actually also anticipated. Yeah, so 0, 1, this one was sliced out, and also this the first 3 was sliced out. So yeah, and this one 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 is not inclusive. Usually the last index is not inclusive, but the first index is inclusive. So from 2 to 3, these two values were pulled out. Yeah. Okay. And of course, I remember last time we talked about the shallow copy. So when I say del from this to this, these two positions that are not there, when the first position is not there in this slice, it means the default value is 0, and when the last position is not there, that means it is it's the length of the of the list. Yeah. Tuples. Yeah. Tuples consist of a number of values separated by commas. Yeah, and they're also sequence types. Yeah. And just like you see here, even if you don't put these commas, it is also very okay to represent it like this. Yeah, so that is a tuple. Yeah, just like you see there. Tuples may be nested, just like anything you can do actually with a list, you can do with a what? With a tuple. Yeah. Sets are also like lists, although with sets they don't repeat. If at all you have these two, apple and apple, at the end, one will be removed. Yeah. Dictionaries, like I said, dictionaries are key value pairs. If you have worked with PHP before, dictionaries are called in PHP they are called associative arrays. In JavaScript they are object literals. Yeah, and you can also look through dictionaries. Now we can have an example of a dictionary here. Maybe I can have a dictionary and I can call it maybe biodata, maybe bio_data. This one might have the name, full colon. So this, the name is the value, and the, no, it's the key, and then maybe Emmanuel. Then I can have maybe workplace. Then I can say maybe design hub. See, they're separated by commas, and then lastly I can have maybe residence. Then I could have maybe Bugolobi. Yeah, so when I have this, if at all I want to access something in there, I can use the print. I'll use the biodata. I'll use square notation like the way, but instead I'll have the key. Yeah. So if at all I try to run this, yeah, I should have Emmanuel there. Yeah. If at all I want to change that, it is very easy. I can just I use square notation and just give it any value. Maybe this guy is now called John. They will have the John there, and we should see that change reflect. Yeah, now it is John. Yeah, and if at all I use the value that is not here, maybe if I saw hobby, and I say maybe swimming. Yeah. So if at all it's not there, it will be actually added to the what? Now let me try to print the whole dictionary here now. So as you see, actually swimming has been added to our dictionary. So if at all it was there, if hobby was already there, that means they would either have updated it, but if it's not there, then they create a new one. Yeah. Now looping through the dictionary is a bit tricky. We can use but since it's a sequence data type 2, we can loop through it. So we can say for key, maybe for key in biodata, right? And we print this, and we print key. Yeah, if you loop through like this, it will be looped through, but it's the keys that will come out. But since we get the keys, that means we can get the what? We can get the values by using the bracket notation of key. No, of we use the biodata, and then we use the key as the argument. Yeah. So with this, the print statement of course takes in more than one argument if you want. So it will come up with the hobby, swimming, this kind of. So Avasha is asking, you can't use for key value in biodata method. Yeah, that one could also work. It could also work. Yeah. You just say key slash value and in this, and then you just put value here. This will work also very well. Yeah. Wait, it didn't actually work. Afasha, there is something you mixed. Actually, instead of Afasha, there is something you missed there, but I think it is dot items. Yeah. Hope you have understood it there. Yeah. If I told you want the key and value, you have to call the items method on this dictionary to give you that. Yeah. All right. I want us to finish with this dictionary so that next time we can just work with yeah. Yeah, you see now there is a dict method that converts something similar to a dictionary into a dictionary. Now, like here, now like this one, it's a list. It's a list of tuples, but these tuples are in pairs. Yeah. So when you pass it through the dict, when you pass it through the dict constructor, it will pick these and make them comma separated values. Yeah. And you see, yeah, this is the looping technique I was telling you about, that will bring out the keys and values. Yeah. And also we have enumerate. Enumerate works with lists, but it prints both the index and the value, similar to this, but this one uses enumerate. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So I think next time on Friday we shall work with the object-oriented programming in Python. Yeah, we shall look at the classes, we shall look at the methods in detail. We shall look at most of the things. Also, I think we shall look at packages, modules in detail, things to do with importing, import statements, and the like. Just that by next week we shall start off with Django. Yeah. I'll take any questions before we can call it a day, because I think I've tried to utilize all the time we had today. For those that came on late, Rachel is asking whether the class was recorded. Yes, it was recorded, and I'm going to share this with you afterwards. I'll upload it afterwards. Yeah. Do we have any questions? Because we expect to be off this chat by in the next 2 minutes. Yeah. But I would advise you to look through this this documentation. Yeah. It's not that bad. Now, like with modules, yeah, because our code has to be very, very modular, as in it has to be short. Yeah. And modules are a very, very good way to work on such. Yeah. Do you have any questions? Apasha, you said you have 2 Raspberry Pis. Give one of your friends a Raspberry Pi so that yeah, because I also expect us to have some work on to do some things with the Raspberry Pi. Yeah, with the physical computing. Yeah, so that you can keep these Python tutorials interesting. Yeah, but I think we should wrap up this by Friday. Yeah. If you don't have any other questions, I think we can call it a day. Yeah. All right. Thank you all who came in and attended. If at all you have not yet received data, please let me know so that I can send, but I believe I've tried to send to everyone. Avasha is asking whether we are going to have physical meetings again. With the available SOPs, it will depend. Let's see how this issue of schools is being handled. Yeah, it's being handled, but for now, I can't lie you. I can't lie you. Yeah, because that's why we are sending you a lot of data so that you can work from home. Yeah. Yeah, Afasha hasn't received this data yet. Yeah, your data is coming. Yeah, you can send through the number you want that data to be on. Yeah, but at least I think the rest have received. Please, if you have not, let me know. Moga is saying physical meetings are good, but we don't want to be locked up. Yeah, that's why we decided to have the online sessions. Yeah. All right, I think that is all for now. You can leave at your own free will.